Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Mr. Brian's Amazing World. Today, we fired up our little Weber grill here. We're doing a little barbecuing and we're gonna cook up some really awesome stuff. We have our pigs, well, a nice ham roast, and we're gonna turn that into some pulled pork. So what we wanted to do is we have a little bit of charcoal on here, and this magic little grill right here has a little propane cylinder. You turn that on and you hit the button and it lights the propane for you, or the charcoal. Instead of having to put all those chemicals, nothing's worse than when you go and you have food and it's cooked with lighter fluid and they just take it and they douse it. That's all you taste is the lighter fluid. You want to taste the smoke, you want to taste the flavor of the wood and the realness of the meat. And you want to cure it with the smoke. That's what makes it crispen the enzymes and hold it all together and make it really good and give it all of what you need. So we have this lit and we're gonna let that go for a minute. Open that up, get that charcoal to get going nice and hot. You know, we don't want to be too hot, but we want to get the thing going well so we can spread this out. And we're going to just simmer this thing. I mean, nice little singe on the outside, and then we'll let it sit at 200 for a bunch of hours, maybe like 8 or 10 hours or so. And we'll cook some other stuff. We got some stuffed peppers we're going to throw on there, and some sausage, and a little everything. So follow along, and let's show you how to make some good smoked stuff. Okay, here we are, we're still back, and we are, charcoal is going good. You can see, good little coals in there. Now we can spread this out. We don't need a lot of it everywhere, just, you know, a little here, a little there, and this will burn for a while, and we can put a couple new ones on top, and that'll keep it going. But spread the heat out, give it a little bit of a chance. Now we're ready. Okay, we got that done. Now what we'll do here, oh, I gotta put this grill on first. Can't forget the grill, that's like the most important part, kind of. Set that in there, good to go for a minute. Then we can drop our roast right on there. Now, unseasoned, raw, nothing to it, okay? Here's what we're gonna do. My favorite little bit here is this magic salt. Okay, we're gonna put quite a bit of this on there because the salt is what you need to help cure this. It's gonna be on the outside. It's going to soak in all that good stuff and hold all the juices together. Pepper. Lots of pepper. Again, you want any of those juices that are coming out to get sealed in with all the pepper. And then we'll give it a little paprika. This is some hot paprika, but hey, you know, doesn't matter. It's all for some flavor. And we will simmer and cook this forever, and we'll put a whole, you know, a bunch of that on there.
What's that?
This is hot paprika. Paprika adds a nice little flavor to it. But,
Paprika?
Paprika. Now what we'll do is, while that's there, we will flip this over quick. Okay, now I can go and put more salt on this side. So it didn't really cook any on that side yet, but, you know, and again, we want quite a bit of salt on this because that's all the salt we're going to use on the whole thing. And it will cure it and help hold it together and make it better. And we'll...
What's that?
Pepper.
Pepper. I thought it
Gotta have some good black pepper. And this is just cheap black pepper. We'll put some more good stuff on there later, but again, we want to be able to hold all those juices that come out of this. That's the kind of thing, even when you're cooking like a burger or a steak, you don't want to ever cut that. As soon as you cut it or poke through it, you lose all the juices, all the goodness. You want to pull that sucker off and let it sit, and it'll hold all the juice and retain it, and then you cut it. You need to learn how to get it by feel and temperature. Otherwise, really by feel. It's very hard to do this holding this camera. It's kind of funny. But, you know, that's quite a bit of spice on there, and that'll be a bunch of flavor. And we're not really looking for a lot of heat for this. We want to just kind of singe the outside very quickly. And we'll slow that down so the fire kind of dies out a little bit. We don't really want it going much. We just want the smoke. We want a little singe, and that'll be all the flavor. And, well, we'll let that cook, and we'll add some more stuff to it, and see how it all comes out. Okay, so now we have some green peppers here. We're gonna make some stuffed peppers. So what we'll do, we're gonna throw these on the grill, add a little bit of singeing and a little extra flavor to these peppers. Make them extra good. Throw them on the sides because you're not gonna see or eat any of the other parts. So perfect. Let them sit like that for, you know, turn them every 2 minutes or so they don't get just a little burn mark on the lines from the grill. And soften the pepper ever so slightly, but still keeps them crisp and delicious. And then you stuff them. So while we're cooking, what we're going to do is we're going to cook up a little bit of this walleye that we caught this weekend. Now we caught it out on the lake. Beautiful fish. It was a 24-inch monster, and Well, we filleted it up, and now what we're gonna do is we have some milk and we have a little bit of mayonnaise, and we're gonna mix that together with these fillets, and then we're gonna cook them up here on the grill. We'll put a little on this so it doesn't stick. That's a big deal. And see how I can do this while I'm filming at the same time. Just dip it right in there. Can get it pretty heavily coated, that'll be fine. And when you cook this, it's all gonna come right off, and it'll just make the greatest little batter and a little sauce for this. Drop this other one in there as well. Again, it's not so sloppy when you're not, filming it. So once you have that in there, hold this.
Okay.
Now you can take, and you want to put a little bit of lemon on top of that as well. And between the lemon and all that, and the milk and the mayonnaise, and it's gonna just pull the flavor and just make some really great stuff. We can even add just a tiny bit of black pepper while we have this stuff out here. And now we're gonna grill this up. Throw that on top of our grill. Why don't you bring that camera over here and show us what we have here. Add that right over here on the corner. And that can sit right back in there and just take a little bit of that residual heat. Maybe we'll bump this guy over just like that, give it a tiny turn each one of these, and they're sitting there. And we're probably gonna pull these in a minute or two just so they don't get any fishy flavor, and we should be good to go. Here's what became of the stuffed peppers. She is loading them up. They have some little bit of ground beef and some rice, sausage, some other goodness, some cheese thrown in there. And now if we come back out here, let's go see what we're doing on our grill. Now, we have this roast going. Looking absolutely great. Let's flip this thing over. Oh, look at that. Just a tiny, tiny bit of bark on there. That's what we want. Just enough to add some flavor. When we start making pulled pork, there's gonna be little bits of that in there. That's where you get the goodness, folks. That's what you want. Now you can see this sizzling a little here. That's cooking up just nice. We'll flip that over in a minute. I have another little piece here that we're gonna throw on. So here's what we'll do. We'll drop that right on the grill like that. Why don't you hold this for me?
The scales are still on.
That's okay. We're gonna leave those scales. I have the knife right here. We're gonna butter this up a little bit. Just a little, because this way as it gets cooked, the butter will soak in and add all kinds of awesome flavors for that. And this will cook just nicely. We'll put a tiny bit more on there.
Are you going to use the lemon?
Yes, I am. I'm going to cover this with lemon next. And we will just... Ooh, that's going to be nice. Maybe we'll put a tiny bit more of this on there just to keep that going. Now, what I'll do is while I have this out here, I'm going to take and... Whew, these pieces are awesome. Look at that. It's already almost perfect. Oh, yeah. She's almost caking apart. Just about done. I'd say give that another 2 minutes and she's done. So we will continue on and let it cook and keep on going. Here we are. This thing's ready. We got to pull this off. It's definitely done. Hold this for me, please. Sweet. We'll pull this little dish right out of there.
Looks like they melted. Well, one.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely perfect. The more that's like mushed together like that, that's going to make good stuff. I don't know if this table can handle that heat. We better leave it up here for right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that won't be good. Now this little guy cooking up. Yeah, I'm gonna say that one's done too. Let me get a knife and or a fork and pull that one out. Meanwhile, so that was just butter and lemon, and that's done. This one's still singeing, adding a little flavor to it. Working just perfectly. I mean, we had about a 250-degree heat here, and we're trying to add some flavor to the outside. We don't really want to cook this too quick. We'll sit this in a crock pot later and cook it for a couple hours probably. Really soften. Oh, thank you very much. Perfect timing. And now we'll pull this fork right off of there. Whoa. I'm going to stick this right on the edge of that. That is absolutely perfect. So we have two different kinds. One is with the mayonnaise and the butter and some lemon and milk. This one's just lemon and butter.
So...
Very simple.
Why did you cook it with the scales for this one and not with these two?
Well, these I filleted because this one was cooked with the scales right against the heat. It can burn the bottom and then you can just scrape it off and you don't have the burnt fish that you're actually eating. That's part of the skin, if you will. So we want to keep, like I said, we're running about 275 right now. Maybe we'll turn this down a touch now that we're done cooking. and that'll slow our heat.
So when you're eating this one, you could just peel the actual...
Yeah, this, like, the way you can tell that this is done is this will just flake apart. And if it pulls apart like that, that's absolutely perfect. This one too, again, it should just crumble. And the fact that there's nothing to it when it flakes like that, that tells you that it is done and it is exactly how you want it. If anything, pull it off slightly early. If it's a little bit raw, it's slightly sushi. But if it's overcooked, it's no good. It's going to be rubbery and nobody likes that. Take it slightly raw, and again, if you have to cook it for another 2 seconds, no problem. But again, without cutting into it or anything, you just touch it and it'll flake apart. And that's how you know your stuff is done. Okay, it's done. The stuffed peppers. Let's check it out. Holy moly. Wow, look at that. Right on the trivet. Perfect. Grilled a little bit. You can see one is special without all the stuff that nobody wants. But, yep. Stuffed peppers. Okay, so our pork is pretty much about where we want it to be. We're just over 225, 250 degrees. Enough to singe it very well, right on the heat. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna pull this off, and you can see it's got a little bark on it, a lot of flavor. It's perfect. It's got a good amount of squish to it, so you can tell it's not done too much. And we're gonna flip that over and just place it right in the crock pot like that. Then, all we're gonna do, put a little bit of vinegar in there. And you think, oh man, vinegar, what the heck? No, vinegar isn't for the flavor. Vinegar is in there to take the enzymes apart with the meat and break it apart and add tons and tons of flavor, and this will just fall apart and crumble. All that juice will be soaked up. It'll completely crumble apart and be the most tasty, delicious thing ever. So we're basically done with our grill for now. Everything's shut down. You know, the coals are all spread out. We close down below, and we'll close that up there. Meanwhile, we'll just put this right on the crock pot and let this simmer real low for hours and hours, and it will just be the best stuff ever.